Husband, 27M, claims I, 27F, have to deal with monster I created, after my PPD lasting 2 years. Looking for advice. During the first 2 years after giving birth to my daughter, I was severely depressed. I had no support from family at the time because I was living across the country from them. At this time we hadn't married yet. I was in college full-time and my partner was full-time and a part of athletics teams, so he was extremely busy. When I would ask him to wake up with our daughter or stay up with her so I could extra sleep, he would insist he can't because he needs sleep. Times when I needed a break from her, it would be pushed to the side because he was hanging out with buddies. Occasionally he would ask if I wanted him to wash dishes or straighten up a room, but I just wanted a break from the baby. Felt like I was drowning in responsibility and trying to keep the baby healthy. I began entertaining the idea of leave back to my parents for more help. During arguments, when I brought up how I felt alone raising our daughter, he would tell me I should be glad he's here and to stop being a baby. I began to tell him I was going to leave. However, I never did, and it just ended up looking like threats. Whenever we got into arguments, I would consider leaving and tell him that. A year later we get married. The fighting continued. A lot of the time started by me. I was still depressed and resented him because he prided himself in being there for the baby, but not for me. He became very angry and bitter towards me for threatening to leave with his daughter. Fast forward 2 years. I healed from postpartum depression, but he still holds on to how I treated him. He gets extremely angry and has outbursts. Has completely disconnected from caring about how I feel and won't stop talking to other women. When I tell him how he's behaving is unacceptable and tell him to forgive me for how I handle my emotions during PPD, he said he tolerated the monster I was when I was depressed, and now that he is depressed, I have to deal with the monster I created. I know this isn't right at all. So I've told him if he continues I will leave. It's one thing for him to be mad, but the other women is foul. He tell me this is the problem he has had with me since the beginning and claims if I were to believe in him and stop threatening to leave he would feel secure. I feel like he is trying to use how I treated him during PPD as leverage to do whatever he wants now and insist I have to deal with it. Edit. After his angry outbursts he says he's going to get therapy, then reverts a couple days later saying he's good. He tell me this is the problem he has had with me since the beginning. Okay, well, then, why is he fighting you leaving? Clearly this has never been a good idea. And you should both stop pretending it's ever going to work. And even if his version of events were accurate, I get to treat you badly because you treated me badly is not how healthy relationships work. Go see a therapist on your own if you're still not sure that leaving is a good idea. But go see a lawyer so you can at least start taking steps in that direction. Having a kid is super stressful. And PPD is no joke. I wish you had gotten the help you needed during that time. And I hope that you're seeking it out now. Having a stressful education curriculum and doing sports on top of a baby is super stressful. And I can't imagine the amount of pressure that's accumulated during this time in your lives. However, cheating on your spouse is never okay. And him implying that his actions are somehow your fault is not okay. This relationship doesn't sound healthy and apparently hadn't been for a long time. You need to figure out how many more years you want to dedicate to working on this relationship and whether it's worth all the heartache. Exposing your child to this dynamic isn't healthy and will normalize this behavior as acceptable. When your kid begins to date, get out. This won't get better. Bad father. Bad husband. He wasn't there for you or your daughter when you needed him most and is now lording over you with his depression. Parenting is hard and he couldn't handle it. I'm not sure I'm seeing why either of you want to remain together. Is there anything positive? He never cared. I don't know why you even married him. Just get out. Just know. He has treated you with tremendous disrespect the whole way through. He doesn't get to claim you were a monster to him when he refused to take responsibility and kept acting like he was free to do what he wanted to do with his buddies while you were not getting sleep. He abdicated responsibility for caring for his partner because it was inconvenient. Of course you had PPD. He caused the PPD by being unsupportive and then making you feel guilty. Honestly, couples therapy or divorce. This is not a situation that can be communicated through or powered through to get to the other side. The fact that he is entertaining thoughts of other women is where, personally, I'd be done. Were you difficult to live with for a couple of years? Yep. Had you had support from him or from anyone, you likely would not have fallen into PPD. The fastest way into PPD is sleeplessness and loneliness. The two are a vicious combination. He knew you were suffering, and instead of helping, he patently made things worse. Marrying him was your mistake. Now it is time to consider divorce. Talk to an attorney and talk about custodial arrangements that involve moving with your child to where you have a support system, since it doesn't appear he is a particularly involved parent. At this time we hadn't married yet. I was in college full-time and my partner was full-time and a part of athletics teams, so he was extremely busy. Why did you have the baby then? A year later we get married. This is insane. He refuses to take some of the load off so you can rest. He says, you should be grateful, for doing nothing more than his obligation to stay around his wife and daughter. Then he says he's right about flirting with other women to your face because you were depressed. Depression, mind you, that is extremely common in young mothers. That's foul. I am a father of 2 and my wife battled PPD for years. I always made sure she had at least 1 whole day of the week to herself. Always was there in silence, supporting her doubts and depressed thoughts. Constantly made arrangements with therapists and psychiatrists and made her go through with them. She's now much better, but it still ain't easy. Sorry, but your husband sounds more like a spoiled teenager than a family man. I'm sorry. He is angry at you. After he left you alone during those terrible 2 years? Fucker didn't help you at all. And now he dares being upset because you weren't a ray of sunshine? No. Nope. Nope. Fuck him. Asks your family for help. Don't let him get away with this. This is not on you. You were having a legitimate health issue after giving birth to your baby and he wasn't there. He can't be offended now. This is ridiculous and I'm offended on your behalf. He's calling himself a monster and treating you like garbage. This isn't a good situation for you or your daughter. And even your husband may not recognize the harm he's causing everyone, including himself. You've already come up with the answer. Separate with an eye towards divorce and co-parenting. If he removes his head from his nether region during the separation, you can stop a divorce. If not, you're in a better spot to care for yourself and kiddo. Good luck to you, whichever way you go. We decided to have a baby despite neither of us being in a place in our lives where that would be an easy or sensible thing to do. Then our relationship was so awful that we got married. Our relationship has continued to get more and more awful. My husband is unfaithful to me and openly contemptuous of me. How do I fix this? Quote, divorce FFS. Why do people who don't like each other get married and stay together? I genuinely don't get it. I hate hearing about people staying together for their kids. Stop. Your daughter will see this dynamic and think this is what a relationship is supposed to look like. And it's just not. Did you know there are parents out there who genuinely love and care about each other? Do better for your kid. Your view of what happened and who is at fault seems to be a bit warped. He's all me me me. My classes matter. My sports matter. My time with buddies matters. My feelings matter. My monster that I am matters and you caused it. Your monster never mattered. My parenting of my baby matters and yours doesn't. He's not a partner. He never was. Leave and go to your support. You might have threatened it a lot. But that didn't cause the issues here. He did. He's terrible and you deserve better. You deserve support. What about how he treated you? Why did you marry him? He didn't change or improve. What are you still doing there? Are you just stuck in a tolerable level of permanent unhappiness? Is this what you think love actually looks like? Tell him to forgive me. This is not how forgiveness works. The two of you don't need to be a couple to parent your child effectively. Your child deserves better than the dysfunctional relationship you are both currently inflicting on them. How can either of you ever feel secure in this relationship? He moved you away from your family and then refused to support you when you needed him. You picked fights and threatened to leave him every time you got upset. Now he's cheating and saying it's your fault. You're still threatening to leave. Totally justifiably. But he doesn't care because you've cried wolf so many times. This relationship is just really damaging and you should not be raising a child in this environment. Leave already. Girl, why did you marry this utter louse? Please leave. Find someone who is supportive of you and who isn't a selfish ass and who has respect for you. Stop threatening to leave and just do it. What do you need him for anyway if you're already doing it all?
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epic Haircast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.